Welcome to Wisdom-Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2636 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom-Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Today is the 57th lesson in our segment of Theology Thursday. Utilizing excerpts from the book titled, I Dare You Not to Bore Me with the Bible, written by Hebrew Bible scholar, the professor, the late Dr. Michael S Heiser, we will invest a couple of years going through the entire Bible, exploring short biblical lessons that you may have not received in Bible classes or church. The Bible is a wonderful book. Its pages reveal the epic story of God's redemption of humankind and the long, bitter conflict against evil. Yet it is also a book that may seem strange to us at times. While God's Word was written for us, it wasn't written to us. And today's lesson is, Perspective Changes Everything. Is the book of Revelation a linear chronology of future events, or does the book describe the Roman persecution of Christians and Rome's destruction of the temple events that occurred in John's lifetime? The first view opts for a mid-AD 90 authorship, long after the temple was destroyed. The second supports a pre-AD 70 authorship, when the temple was still standing. Each of these readings is complicated by Revelation chapter 11, verses 1 and 2. Let me read that to you. Then I was given a measuring rod like a staff, and I was told, Rise up and measure the temple of God and the altar of those who worship there. But do not measure the court outside the temple. Leave it out, for it was given over to the nations, and they will trample the holy city for 42 months. Taken literally, these verses indicate that the Jerusalem temple still stands, apparent proof that the Revelation was written before AD 70. If so, the idea that John is describing a Roman persecution and invasion empowered by Satan and his hatred for the church must be valid. However, while the defense for this view takes the passage literally, most people who prefer to see Revelation written before AD 70 read the rest of Revelation symbolically, matching John's description of some of the features of the Roman Empire and its Caesars. Those who read Revelation in terms of a distant future events often point to the mid-90 authorship. They prefer a symbolic reading of Revelation chapter 11, a departure from their preference for taking the rest of Revelation quite literally, even to the point of describing futuristic military weapons in John's vision. Who is the literalist now? It's difficult to be consistent with the book of Revelation. The early church father, Clement of Rome, offers us clues for understanding how this passage might be understood. Clement wrote long after Jerusalem's temple had been destroyed, but he used the present tense when speaking of the temple. 1 Clement, verses 40 and 41. He does this to strike an analogy between the orderly worship of the temple in times past and the current concern about worship. The same may be true of Revelation chapter 11, verses 1 and 2. It's not unusual for biblical writers to speak of past events in languages that sound contemporary. In other words, the temple might be long gone, but references to it serve some other literary or theological purpose, taking center stage in the writer's mind. Nonetheless, it doesn't exclude the possibility of interpreting Revelation in light of the current events in Rome. It just proves that neither approach can be fully accepted. When reading a complicated book like Revelation, it's helpful to address where views deviate from their interpretive approach. It might be more revealing than we ever expected. The lessons that make up Theology Thursday on our Wisdom-Trek podcast for the next couple of years will satisfy the statement, I dare you not to bore me with the Bible. I trust that you'll enjoy them and, of course, not be bored. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom-Trek, creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom-Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.